Countdown is on to Election Day, 1 week from Tuesday, but early voting begins in both New York and New Jersey Saturday, October 26th. I sat down with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy to discuss the election and other big issues in the Garden State. Take a look. And Governor Phil Murphy joining me now. Great to have you here, Governor. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Good to be back.
All right, election less than 2 weeks away, a pivotal time, right? Not only with presidential politics, but local as well. Early voting begins this Saturday. Are you going to be taking place with early voting, and what's your voting plan?
Yeah, my voting plan is to do what I've done since we authorized early in-person voting. Tammy and I are going to vote this Saturday. The 26th is day one. That runs through Sunday, November 3rd. Then we take a day off to reboot the machines, and then Election Day is the 5th. So the answer is yes, we will be voting on day one of early in-person.
All right, let me get to some of the local races right now. All eyes on these congressional and Senate seats, particularly in New Jersey, right? Because the balance of power is at stake right now. Sue Alman versus Tom Kane Jr. Thoughts on this overall flipping? Sue Alman having a moment right now, seems to be surging ahead in the polls. What do you see as the driving force to make that seat flip?
Yeah, let me just say unequivocally, Sue's got a real shot here. A Monmouth poll came out last week that had her down 2 points and closing. So not just close, but momentum on her side. It's a district, Dan, that Joe Biden won by several points, while the redistricting made it a little bit more leaning Republican. Sue's got a lot of momentum right now. It's suburban, things like reproductive freedom, affordability, home security, to pick three items are top of mind, and she's in the right spot on all three. This should be, and I think it will be, a cliffhanger. Yeah, for sure. And on the Senate side of things, Andy Kim versus Curtis Bashaw. And Curtis was here on Pix 11 just recently, said this is going to be the biggest upset that New Jersey has seen in nearly 50 years here. But Andy Kim, of course, ahead in the polls right now. Your thoughts on this race and getting out the vote for the blue side of things, which is what you would like to see happen? Yeah, I mean, Curtis is a good guy. I've known him a long time, but Andy's going to win that race. And that's where it needs to be, because just like Sue's race, that's not just a question of do you like Sue or Tom Kane. It's a question of who's got the vote for the next Speaker of the House. Likewise, the Senate race, the question is who's going to have the vote for the Senate Majority Leader. And that, by all accounts, will be Andy Kim, and that's the way it should be.
You know, predictions are tough here, but this is a razor-sharp race when it comes down to the presidential side of things, right? I mean, they are neck and neck in all of the polling right now. The rhetoric is one thing. What do you see, and what will you be doing in the next 2 weeks up to Election Day for Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. That's number one. Number two, Tammy and I have raised a big amount of money for the Democratic National Committee and for the ticket, doing a lot of bus send-offs from New Jersey into Pennsylvania to knock on doors. Literally right after you and I end this interview, I'm headed to New Hampshire to do some work for both the Harris-Walz ticket and also for our candidate for governor, Joyce Craig, who's got a real shot. So we're getting out there. New Jersey's the ultimate export state, exporting money, boots on the ground, surrogating, you name it, we'll do what it takes.
Do you think that New Jersey will stay blue, or do you see it's New Jersey's a purple state? How do you see this going?
No, New Jersey will be blue. You never take anything for granted, but Kamala and Tim will win New Jersey by a healthy margin. The work really needs to be done in the battleground states, like Pennsylvania probably is target number one for both campaigns.
All right, Governor, thank you. I want to get to some of the local issues right now. Amtrak and New Jersey Transit execs, along with local political leaders, right, announcing some changes coming after the summer of hell. The thing is, with that change, both agencies, Amtrak and New Jersey Transit, are saying they need more money to get things done. So what's the likelihood, or what are you pushing for, to get the federal government involved to get some of these funds that are so needed?
Yeah, I mean, I convened the leadership of Amtrak and NJ Transit after the disastrous month of June. July and August were a little bit better. They weren't anything to write home about, but they committed to work together to inspect every ounce of track and equipment, and I'm going to reconvene that group early next month to get an update on where things stand. things have gotten better, which is good, but that's from a very low point in the summer. NJ Transit has the funding it needs. I signed in our budget a corporate transit fee, which is more than enough to get NJ Transit into the fiscally sound position it needs to get into. Amtrak is another story. They need money from the feds. I'm personally helping them out. Our delegation is helping them out. And I know they're helping themselves out. I mean, the good news is we've got a good relationship with all parties here. So we're not at war with each other, but we need each other, and they need, in particular Amtrak, needs more federal money, which we will do everything we can to help them with.
All right, keep us posted on that, to be continued. I want to talk about the East Orange School District right now. Community outrage, right? As you know, Governor, over the announcement of nearly 100 layoffs due to the budget constraints. Some of the school days have now gone to half days. These layoffs happening at a very crucial time around December, which is the holidays for so many. And the district under fire by the State Department of Education for failing to report the issues that were causing the budget shortfall. So what went wrong here? And are these layoffs permanent, or can you step in and do something about it?
Yeah, let me say unequivocally, I'm not happy, and my team is not happy. We've had the Department of Education has been in with the East Orange folks since Monday of this week, and we're still trying to figure out what went off the rails here. The fact of the matter is East Orange got funded a little bit, a hair more in this budget than it did last year. It's an incredibly important community. It's one of those communities, frankly, there's 10 or 20 of them. As it goes, so goes the state of New Jersey. But the answer cannot be kids in East Orange going to school for only a half day. I'm happy to say as we sit here, there have now been several days in a row where they're full day. It's going to stay that way. Too early to tell, Dan, whether or not these staffing adjustments are temporary or permanent. I actually don't know enough yet to be able to say definitively, but we're the #1 public education system in America. We fund public ed per capita student higher than any state in the United States, and East Orange cannot be an exception to that.
But when you look at what's happening, does at this point, or are you already involved, does the state need to step in?
Well, the state is, through the Department of Education, has been with them since Monday. And again, the one thing we're not going to allow to happen is half-day education for East Orange's precious kids. That's not going to happen. It happened for a couple of days. That cannot continue, and I'm happy to say, as you and I speak, the past several days have been back to full day. We'll see where it goes from here.
I want to touch real quick on this legislation you signed to increase the penalties for home invasions, which is obviously a growing problem in New Jersey. We see this kind of ticking up right throughout the state, not just one community. The new law is bringing harsher penalties for teenagers, in particular, involved in such crimes. Why did you feel that step needed to be taken? Are you seeing an increase with teenage crime?
Well, in terms of home invasions and burglaries and car thefts, the answer is yes. And by the way, the only course correction I'd give you, Dan, it's not just around New Jersey. This is a national issue. Yeah. And in fact, no state has signed a law on the books as strong as the one we just did. And this gives the judges the latitude to treat juveniles as adults, because sadly, a lot of this is coming from kids. Having said that, we are a state that cares enormously about criminal justice reform and equity at the same time. So we're always trying to balance those objectives. We think this bill does that.
I understand what you're saying about it happening not only locally but nationally. It is certainly an issue here. I want to end on this, and it's a bit of a positive, right? Kicking off 250th anniversary of America, particularly in New Jersey. What's the celebration? Are we getting big stars? Is Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi coming out? What do you got in store for us?
I have no comment on that very good question, but you're absolutely right. We're kicking off America's 250th next month in New Jersey. Massachusetts and Boston, Pennsylvania and Philadelphia historically have gotten more of the airtime than New Jersey has. Our job and because of the incredibly important role New Jersey played, this effort will make sure that New Jersey has its rightful place alongside those other locations in the story of the American Revolution and the birth of our great country.
Something tells me, though, there is a name involved. Have you seen the Bruce documentary? It's fantastic.
I saw the premiere. In fact, I was at the Toronto Film Festival. We were pitching New Jersey up there. Saw it actually with the boss.
Nice. Of course you did. All right, next time I want to come along.